Welcome back to the Good Life Studios. I am your brother Ryan, and I'm so excited to have you here. We are getting ready to do the work. You know, I always say if you want to live the good life, you got to do the work. So let's get to work. Today, the conversation is very simple. We're talking about the difference between counsel and confusion. Yeah, the difference between counsel and confusion. One of the things that I recently heard and it really sparked my interest was this idea that if we group think, then we'll never really be able to think on our own. And what I recognized is that I've had many experiences in my life where I went to people who I thought were, well, not that I thought, they were my friends, but they weren't the friends that I needed in the moment to give me the counsel I needed at the time to produce the results that I needed for this particular situation. And oftentimes we can get into situations where we go to our friends for counsel, but really all they give us is confusion and chaos. Unfortunately, that tends to be the case for most of us gentlemen who are trying to get ahead in life. We're trying to get better results than we've been getting. We're trying to produce more than we've ever produced in our life. So we go to the people who we're comfortable with in hope that they can give us advice and solutions that we're comfortable with. But growth doesn't come from comfort. Growth never comes from comfort zone. Growth always comes from uncomfortable positions in trying times, in challenging situations that cause us to reach deeper and reach further than we ever have before to create a new reality for ourselves that we've only ever seen in our minds. I'm gonna say it again. When we want to grow, we can't go to the people who make us comfortable. We have to go to the people who challenge us. Yeah, and that's hard. It's been hard for me. And as men, we fight so much and we work so much to get to places where we can just stop and be comfortable. And quite often times, like that is a sign of success for us. But if we're going to get from a place of scarcity to security, then to success, because that's the goal, is to go from a place where we're uncertain about things, uncertainty, to get into a place of security and then to a place of success, we have to put ourselves around people who are going to challenge us to the furthest extent of who we are and what we will become. Because those people have been where we're going and they see what it is we're trying to produce and they understand the weird quirks and the weird challenges that we're going to face, and they're not afraid to challenge us to get to the better part of it. So what I want to do is, y'all know I got some scripture for everything I'm talking about. I want to look at Psalms 1, and it says this. It says, "Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the path of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that brings forth its fruit in its season, whose leaf always shall not wither. And whatever he does shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the shaft which the wind drives away. Therefore, the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish." Now, I'm not saying that your friends are ungodly, but I might be saying that they may not be living the life you're trying to live. They may not be living up to the standards of life that you believe and the way that you're trying to do life as a man. And if that is the case, it's okay to recognize it. And it's even more important for you to point out who those people are. Not to say that you have to cut them off, but to say that you may have to separate yourself for a season so that you can grow to where you want to go. Now, I would ask this question. If you go to your 5 closest friends and you ask them for advice, do you get a clear plan of success? Do you get a clear picture on what it is you need to do next? Or do you get 5 people who tell you 5 different things and no one agrees on any one thing? And now you have to fight to figure out what it is you're going to do next. Because if that's the case, you didn't really get any counsel. All you got was a bunch of opinions that left you high and dry as you were before, probably more confused than you were before you had the conversation, and a whole bunch of people looking for you to create a future and an expectation, because now you've put an idea in their mind of what it is you want to create, and they're looking for something from you on the back end of it. And so now they're checking up on you regularly. Hey, how did it go? What happened? Did you get it accomplished? Did you do this? Did you do that? But they never gave you anything sound. We see here in Psalm 1 that we're blessed when we get out of the way of people who don't have clear expectations, who don't have clear answers, who don't have a clear outcome, and they don't know how to show you the way. And we're better by getting in the place of the people who are righteous. What does it mean to be righteous in this instant? What righteousness looks like in this instance is get in the places, get in the seat, get in the rooms with men. Okay, fellas, I'm talking to us. Get in the room, get in the places, get in the way of men. Listen to men, read books written by men, pay attention to the podcast, get into the masterminds, get into the groups with the men, get into a Bible study, get into church groups with men who have done the thing you're trying to do and are successful at it. Because when you do that, you're going to pick up clues to success. My pastor always tells me this. He says, son, more is caught than taught. Just by me getting in the way of these men, just by me getting in the places where these men operate, where they function, where they do what they do, just by me being in their presence, I'm going to more than likely pick up some things that are going to help me be more successful over a period of time than spending the next 10 days playing the video game on the headset, talking to my buddies about what I got going on. And they're telling me, oh man, that sucks. I hope it gets better. Hey man, cover your left. They're not consistent. They're not focused. They're not concerned. What they're focused and consistent and concerned about are the things that bother them, not helping you get further. And so, unfortunately, what you're getting is confusion, not chaos, because they're going to keep piling on what they're concerned about, what's on their list of concerns, what's on their list of to do, how do they answer their questions and their problems, because the chances are that the 5 people closest to you are on the same level as you, not the level you're trying to get to. They're not where you're going. They're where you are. So we have to put ourselves in spaces and put ourselves in places that allow us to get further in our life. So if further looks like I want to have a more successful relationship with my partner, with whoever she may be, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach myself to men who have had successful relationships over long periods of time. Maybe it's somebody, if I'm not married yet, I'm getting next to the guy, I'm talking to a guy who's been married for 5 years. I'm talking to a guy who's been married for maybe 10 years. Someone who's maybe been married for 30 years. Someone who's been married for 35 years. I'm checking with my father, my grandfather, my uncles, my pastor, the guy who leads the small group at my church. I'm talking to my boss at work because he's been married for a while. He's married with a couple of kids. He's done this family thing well for a while. So maybe I'm checking with him on how do I do this thing well? If I'm trying to grow in my career, maybe I'm getting with a career coach. Maybe I'm getting with a life coach, a professional development coach, because they've done it well and they've helped other people get there. I'm looking to get in the way and into space with men who do what men do the way I want to do it. Because just sitting around talking about it with a couple of guys who have the same struggles I have, all we're going to do is talk about struggle and not success. Because if we could fix it, we would. That's what men do. If we can fix it, we fix it. When we don't know how to fix it, we make excuses for why it's not done yet. Oh, I haven't got to it yet. Oh, I don't really have the part I need. Oh, I need to call such and such to get a recommendation. We start making excuses and we put things in the way of our success because we're afraid of being successful sometimes. Come on, let's just tell the truth, man. Sometimes we're afraid of being successful because success comes with more responsibility, because once I win one time, I'm expected to win again. Let's just look at what just happened recently, right? And I'm time dating this video, but that's okay. Let's look at what just happened. The defending Super Bowl champs, the 2-time defending Super Bowl champs, went in to their 3rd Super Bowl in a row, trying to make history. And because they've been so successful in the past, everybody expected them to be successful again. That level of expectation put on them is quite possibly what drove them to failure. Because who else has done what they've done? Nobody. So they don't have a blueprint. They didn't have a blueprint on how to do it again. Instead, they went up against a team who had been close to success before and hadn't quite achieved it for themselves. And those men got around other winners and asked, hey, what do we need to do to get over the hump? How do I become successful my next time around? What is it I can do to make sure that I ensure victory for myself and for my team? And they went in and decisively ran over the former winners. This is what happens when you put yourself around winners. When you put yourself around people who know what to do and they know how to do it consistently. You pull in team members, you quote unquote, you draft, you sign new people to your team. You get coaches, you get consultants, you get new groups of friends who understand how to be better now so that you can be greater later. If all we do is stand around and look for and fight for inconsistent friends who haven't done what it is we're trying to do, one will always be misunderstood. And misunderstanding is a thing that drives me crazy when I'm trying to explain and I'm trying to present my future and my vision, and I'm trying to share with people who I believe care about me and they can't understand it. That drives me crazy, because then I begin to feel like we don't belong together anymore. I feel like our friendship isn't worth what I thought it was anymore. I begin to feel as though this isn't who and what I thought you were. Now I start to discredit you. So the good advice you do have, I don't want to receive it anymore. So we become misunderstood. Once we become misunderstood, oftentimes we become discouraged because nobody understands me. Maybe what I'm trying to present, maybe what I'm trying to convey isn't as sound as I think it is. So I start to second guess myself, because the people who I trusted previously, the people who I thought previously would be able to at least understand what I'm trying to do, they can't understand it. And so now I'm starting to question, hey, is what I'm thinking, does this even make sense? Because the people who typically understand me in 95% of my life, they don't understand me anymore. And I talked about this in a previous video. This is why it's important that you partner well with a spouse. This is why it's important that you marry well, because your wife is going to become your primary vision partner. This is why it's so important to make sure that the woman you're in a relationship with understands the magnitude of your level of thinking. Because if not, what's going to end up happening is you're going to go to your friends to hopefully understand what it is you have going on. They're not going to get it. And then you're going to have to turn to the one person who should get it. And if she doesn't get it, you're really going to be upset. But sometimes our partners don't get it, unfortunately. So then what do? Then we have to go to the people who've done it before. And you may not find somebody who's done it exactly the way you've done it, but you can find somebody who's done the things, who've done a few components of what you've done, and they're going to be able to understand and push you even further. Because they'll be able to show you, okay, I don't know all of that, what you're talking about, but I know that this one piece, it works like this. And I know somebody, and this is the thing about success. Success leaves clues. Successful people are going to point you to other successful people to help you in the other areas of your life that you need success in. So I don't know much about accounting, but I do know marketing. And so I'm going to tell you about marketing, and I'm going to point you to Corey, because Corey does accounting and he does taxes. And Corey may not know how to do strategic systems, but he'll help you with your accounting and with your taxes. Then he'll point you to this person who does strategic systems. And then that person will point you here, and that person will point you there. And because now you're in a realm of success, you're getting sound counsel. You're getting sound help. You're getting sound doctrine. What Paul said was sound doctrine. You're getting people who truly understand the ins and outs of where you are and where you're going. And they can not only give you advice, they can give you the playbook. Because see, even in our group of friends, we may have friends who know what to do, but they don't know how to do it. So I know somebody who understands it in theory, but they don't have a practical experience with it. They never put their hands on it themselves. There are I can name a bunch of people right now on the internet who can tell you how to save thousands of dollars on taxes, but they're broke. They can tell you $1 million play, but they're broke. They can tell you all the reasons, all the ways and hows to make money, but they don't have it themselves. At least not the way that they're saying that they're making it. Why? Because they have a theory. They don't have a practice. I want to get around people who actually do. I want to get around people who actually know, who have real life experience, who have real understanding on how do I develop these things in me to help me become the man I want to be. Because once that happens, it separates me from those who are trying and those who are making excuses. Because I want to be in the group of the people who are trying. That's where I want to be. I want to be around people who are trying, because people who try tend to succeed more often than people who make excuses. Because see, the only thing they told us this as kids, the only thing that beats a failure is a try. And so as long as I'm trying to be successful, I have a greater shot at getting there. because I'm going to get into spaces with other people who are trying. And now because we're trying to be successful, we have a better chance of learning from one another's failures. And our failures become the foundations for what we'll learn, the way we can now become winners. See, the only thing that stops a winner from winning is his mindset. If my mind is stuck on, oh, I may lose, then I'll never win. But when I get around people who can show me how not to lose or what to do with my losses, then they become lessons. And now my circle becomes one of counsel and not one of confusion. Now, I don't know about you. I hope that makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, then I would urge you to listen to this a little bit longer. Get around some more people who understand what it is we're talking about. Find some more conversations, or stay tuned to what I'm talking about now, because I guarantee you over time, this is going to make more sense. If you watch my video, why get a life coach? A life coach is someone who can help you get to where you want to go. Go back and watch that video. Why get a life coach? Because sometimes you need someone who can push you further, farther, faster, because they're outside of the problem looking in, and they have an expertise that help you recognize where the areas of growth actually exist. But when you're sitting around 5 other people who have a menial level of success just like you do, and you're hoping that they're going to give you a greater level of understanding, then you're running in a circle chasing your tail. Yeah, that's what's happening. You're running in a circle chasing your tail at that point. And I would hate to see you be that person, because I truly believe that you're a good man trying to live a good life and you're doing the work. Now, if that's you, man, go ahead, hit the like button, hit subscribe, send this to somebody else, send this to somebody who you know is doing the work to live the good life. And trust me, I'll be here next time, next Thursday, locking in, giving us some more tips, some more advice, some more encouragement, so we can continue to live this good life together. As always, do the work. I love you. Peace.